Today I'm going over the pros and cons of 3 different sewing machines for leather crafting. Stay tuned. Greetings adventurers and welcome to Skill Tree, where we learn how to do just about everything. Now, I have made it no secret on this show how much I despise sewing by hand. I hate it so much. And though it is an absolutely essential skill set to have if you're doing any kind of leather crafting, I feel like there comes a time in every crafter's life where suddenly they're like, you know what? A sewing machine though. There's the ticket. So if you're finding yourself at that phase of your particular journey and are trying to figure out what type of investment in sewing machine you want to make, this is where this episode comes in, I hope. Though obviously I haven't tried every sewing machine on the market, I have tried a pretty wide spread from the very cheapest I could get to a middle range all the way to a super expensive professional sewing machine. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and weigh the pros and cons of each one of those type of sewing machines and see which one is best for you. All right, we're gonna start down at the cheapest and work our way up to the most expensive. So to begin with, we're gonna talk about that Amazon $100 sewing machine everybody loves to chat about. But these days, the cheapest I think I could find it was $110, $114. They're usually around $140 now, right? This is gonna be the cheapest way to get into sewing. Aside from hand sewing, obviously, you know. And let me say up front, this thing totally works. It is a really, really good machine with some very, very big caveats that I will get into right now. First and foremost, and this might not be everybody's experience, but when I got it, it looked like somebody just kind of threw this off of the back of the truck and let it roll down the street a little bit before it got to me. The box was beat to hell. The parts were kind of beat to hell. It looked like somebody just kind of opened the box and threw screws at it. Everything was there. Everything I needed was in it. It just, by a very small margin, it's a miracle everything was still in it. Again, might not be everybody's experience. It might be disgruntled Amazon driver. I don't know, but that's what I had. Also, when you get this thing, it comes completely covered in oil. You have to clean it all off. And that is because it is made out of steel. A lot of it is unpainted steel, so they're trying to keep it from rusting or whatever. Once I found all the parts that were inside the box though, next came putting the thing together. It comes with a stand. It doesn't come with a stand. It comes with a tripod thing that wants to pretend to be a stand. The stand is utterly useless. You throw it out. I used it for parts on a different project, I think. So you will have to make a stand for yourself or be relegated to, I don't know, clamping it to your table or something. I know I started by being this thing will do the job, and I've been completely trash talking it since. This is a good machine. I just want you to know what you're getting into. This is a project of a machine, right? You have to lovingly caress it and understand its ways for it to get the best use out of the thing. And it doesn't end once it's together, because there are little things that just seem to happen to it, like the little shuttle that holds the bobbin here. Eventually, it gets little burrs on it. So if you have this machine and you're I've adjusted the tension, I've done everything to it, and the thread keeps breaking, it could possibly be that there's just a little burr on that, so you might have to sand it, or you can buy a whole pack of them, I think, for $15 or something. Also, on the point of the tension, I found that there are these 2 little tension loops you're supposed to be able to use. I've never been able to use both of them. Anytime I've made the mistake and absentmindedly put it in both of them, the thread just immediately breaks. Or just binds up the machine if I have a thick enough thread. I don't know why the other one's there. One of them works perfectly. It's fine. It works great with just one, for me, at least. Yeah. The other thing that I'm gonna put as a knock against this, it's a small thing, but the way you wind your bobbin, it's just this kind of little rubber wheel here. You stick the bobbin on it, and then you turn the crank, and that's what winds your bobbin. I did it twice, maybe 3 times, and I hated it so much, I ended up just putting the bobbin on a drill, and I use that to wind it. It works better for me. Mileage may vary. I don't know. Now, obviously, this is a hand crank machine. I've seen a lot of people go through the effort of putting a motor on it. I'm not sure I quite understand the amount of money you spend to get the motor and then the work to put it on, unless it's just a project you feel like doing. I feel like you can just get the next level up machine, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means, down the thing, but yeah. That said, I don't see this as a problem. That hand cranking, honestly, for me, there are some projects where I straight up prefer to use it. You'll see some of the other machines we're working with here, but the control that little hand cranking gives me, there's been other occasions where the pedal, the lasso machine I'm gonna show you here, has stuck for me and completely destroyed a project when I was almost done, just from weird mechanical issue, right? It just took it, it had the power, it moved on through. That will never, ever happen with my hand crank one. So I can just kind of cheat a lot more with the hand crank one, right? I can keep the tension on it by backtracking a little bit while I like move things around and fudge it a little bit, things that would absolutely piss off a more mechanical machine. So yeah, this has its place. Not only that, but this whole house could fall down and this damn machine, as long as I've been keeping up with it, will continue to work. If it gives me issues, I know how it works now because I've played with it enough that I can make the adjustments myself. I can make this a better machine if I need to. It is infinitely repairable. It just kind of always works. It might piss me off every once in a while with like tension issues or whatever, but once you dial it in, it is your never fail machine. When all your other ones decide to simultaneously like sign a death pact together, this machine is going to keep working for you. So it has become my safety net of machine, is my fail safe. Not only that, but it's stupidly powerful. Like, there's never been an amount of leather I've added to this thing that it wouldn't just straight up eat through. So yeah, I feel like I'm off to a bad start. I really kind of like shit on this machine at the beginning, but genuinely, I wouldn't go back and not get it. I like this machine. I like the safety net of having it in my back pocket. Although it is, you gotta be ready to put the work in to understand it. It really isn't a bad place to start. And if that's all you can kind of like, if you're not sure how much you wanna get into this craft, or you're just taking that next step but you don't have the startup capital to get something else, it is a super fine place to start. Do not feel bad about getting this machine. Be prepared to work while getting this machine, but once you dial it in, you will have a fantastic machine that's gonna work for you. Okay, my number 2 on this list is actually one that I haven't done a video for before, but it's this Singer Heavy Duty. And I was a little on the fence about even adding it to this list because it's kind of a misnomer that it's a leather machine, at least for me here. You can do thin leather on it, but the heavy duty in Singer Heavy Duty more means like denim or canvas or something like that. That said, I have used it on leather projects, especially nice thin projects or where I'm adding some like chrome tan leather onto some fabric. It works perfect for that. And if that's the extent of the thickness, like if you're doing more like accessories, if you're doing bags, even some wallets, like thinner wallets and stuff, this is gonna totally work for you. It's just when you start getting into thicker veg tans, because this isn't truly like a leather sewing machine, some of those internal workings aren't going to be strong enough to deal with the extra tension that is required in order to get through leather. So over time, you're gonna kill your machine. But until then, things gonna work gangbusters. I love this machine. And this is where I would say if you're using like thinner leathers, if you're getting into the point where you're making things like gloves or wallets or stuff like that, totally gonna work. But even better, if you're in that middle area where I often am, where you're making almost like maybe cosplay stuff, maybe some costume things where you need to bridge that gap between something that can handle some leather, but will absolutely be able to handle all your other fabric needs, right? Even like their weird thicker ones. It also has all of the bells and whistles one gets with like one of those awesome Singer sewing machines, right? Different types of stitches. I can do buttonholes on this thing, which was an absolute lifesaver for a couple of projects I was doing. And with the recent kind of price increase of that first sewing machine, which makes most of them around $140, this one isn't too far off. It just kind of crests that $200 mark, right? So it's not too bad to get into, and the amount of output, the amount of like variety of things you can do with it is fantastic. Because though you can do the heavy duty, you can also just do regular garments with it, right? It doesn't have to be heavy duty. It just can handle heavy duty. Again, though, don't put it through things that it isn't equipped to handle, right? Like you're gonna burn it out if you overextend it too much. And honestly, there's a metaphor in there, right? Like pushing a machine past its limit until it burns out isn't too far from what we tend to do to ourselves. Especially this time of year when we're coming off of New Year's and we have our resolutions and we're super like energetic to get into it, but then we realize maybe we've overextended ourselves a little bit. But that's where a service like today's sponsor, BetterHelp, can really come in handy. Much like leveling up our skills, therapy isn't like a fast fix for something. It is a thing that we have to work at and become practiced in. It's a practice that just helps you to better understand your own patterns and therefore make like lasting changes. And there really is nothing better than having somebody who's trained in helping you pick apart any of those stressors or blockages and craft just a better way to approach the ongoing work of art that is you. And the great thing about BetterHelp is it is completely online. You just fill out a questionnaire, which then matches you with a licensed therapist. And if for some reason you don't click with them or whatever, you can always change at any time for free. Anyways, if you want to start a habit that creates real growth, just click on our link in the description below, or head to betterhelp.com/skilltree to get 10% off of your first month. Just click that link and take your first step for leveling up you in 2026. Okay, so in this grand scheme of things, I've done kind of the starting kind of budget tier, right? That $100-ish stitching machine. Then we moved up to that middle area, right? Maybe we can branch out a little bit, but now let's get into focused, like leather crafting excellence of a sewing machine here. This is the Cowboy 797, and it is awesome. It is a great machine. It's put out by Tandy Leather. I do a lot of sourcing through Tandy Leather and stuff. I really like their stuff. This isn't sponsored by them, obviously, but yeah, man, it's a good machine. Out of the box, there is like assembly required to make this thing work, but nowhere near the amount of like head scratching assembly as the first machine we talked about. The directions are really good. They have videos to teach you how to do it, but yeah, this machine, this is an expensive machine. I think it's like $1,500 plus. Which, sticker shock, yes, it's an expensive machine, but if you're getting into the more pro side of leather crafting, it is 100% worth the investment. If you are making a business out of this and it's a thing that is going to be making you money, but you have to produce a lot, this is the one for you. It is powerful. It is really fast. It's too fast for me. I think the first time I actually used it, I didn't know what the settings were, so I just kind of turned it all the way up. That was a mistake. It is so fast. It genuinely frightened me. Like, it was like, I think I explained it in the video I did with it, like a machine gun, just like the whole leather went through. Not only that, but it is powerful, where the second machine we talked about, you don't want to put a lot of thick leather through here. I wasn't able to find a limit. It says, I think the limit on it is like 9 ounces or something. I've gone up to like 12. I've basically gone as much leather as I could fit under the foot, and it just works, man. Though it does come with other responsibilities, like there is a whole reservoir underneath for oil, because this is an industrial machine and you need to oil all the bits and pieces of it. But yeah, for as intense of a machine as this is, it's probably the easiest machine I have to like reload the bobbin up, to rethread the machine. Gives no trouble at all. I've never once had a problem with tension on it. Well, that's a lie. I've had problems with tension on it when I've forgotten or like I've missed one of the little loops, and that was my fault. That was not the machine's fault. It is also crazy ergonomic. It makes it so that you don't ever have to move away from this machine. So let's say on one of the other machines, especially like a Singer type machine or whatever, if you want to go in reverse, I take my hand off of the work and I flick the little reverse lever or knob or whatever, and then I get back in there and I work, right? On this machine, they've got the reverse lever right next to the elbow. So as you're going, you don't even miss a step. You just kind of elbow it down, bam, goes. So you never let go of the work. Same with when you need to pick up the stepper foot. It has this nifty little knee paddle here that lifts that up for me too, so I can take the work out from underneath there and move it around as I need to. That especially, I use that one a lot if I need to like turn angles while I'm sewing, because I can sew until the needle's in the down position, lift up the stepper foot, turn the piece around the needle, drop the stepper foot and continue through. It's awesome. Though the problems I have had with it, because it is a more advanced machine, if something like breaks on it or goes wonky, it genuinely takes me a while to figure out what it is, and I'm a little bit afraid to like take it apart because it's kind of a badass machine. So early on when I had it, I had a problem where like for some reason the needle wasn't aligned right. So I'd put a new needle in, I'd press it, it would immediately smash the needle down and break it. I think it was the timing with the little shuttle. It would just smash into the shuttle and break. Took me forever. It was a stupid thing I did, but it took me forever to figure that out just because of the type of machine it is. Also, as I said, the only complaint I would have with it, and I seem to have fixed it recently, but the foot kept getting caught for some reason, so I'd put it down, and when I'd lift my foot up, it would keep working. And that's where I said I've destroyed pieces before, because I'm going along, and there was no rhyme or reason to when it would happen, and I'd lift my foot up, but it would keep going past the point I wanted it to. And unfortunately, with leather, once you have holes in it, there are holes in it. There's nothing you can do about that. So now I either stick with that and just deal with the fact that there are holes where I don't want them, or I start over. And being a perfectionist, I tend to start over. It makes me so sad. Now, do you need a machine this intense? You do not. You do not, again, unless you are making money off of this. If this is your craft, if this is your business, And absolutely, it is 100% worth it. It's gonna bust out things that you need. It is a workhorse, so aside from the stupid things I've done to it, it pretty much handles anything I do for it. It's fast, like egregiously fast. If you're skilled enough to handle that kind of speed, you'll fly through your projects. And I'm confident enough that if I were selling like projects or whatever, that I would be able to make enough things quickly to compensate for the amount of how much it costs, right? So to wrap it all up, of the 3 machines, all of them are super worth your investment. I don't have a bad machine. I'm not upset with any of them. Obviously, the first one, it is a great entryway into it with the understanding that there's that trade-off, right? You're paying less, but you're gonna need to put a little bit more work into this machine. That being said, once you've done that and you've dialed it in, you're gonna have a machine that's gonna last you your entire life. This thing is bulletproof. So long as you've got a little bit of mechanical know-how, you can always fix it, make it work, mill up pieces for it. Like, you can check out on the internet. People have done 1,000 things to this machine. It's really cool. Next, we have that middle area, kind of. I think I'm cheating a little bit by bringing the Singer into this one, but it's my experience, so take it for what it's worth. But I call this like the cosplayer's machine, right? If you are doing some leathercraft, thin leather crafting, but you're also doing a bunch of other stuff and you need to combine those materials together, like, this is a fantastic machine for that. It is a super solid machine. It does everything I need. It handles mostly every material I put through it. Again, just be careful with like any kind of veg tan or whatever. But even better, it can handle things like buttonholes, hemming up edges of things. Like it's just a good all-around machine. And then of course, the Pro machine. The Cowboy is fantastic. Anything in this echelon of machine is gonna really be like for high production. Do you absolutely need any of them to do leather crafting? No, you can hand stitch. In fact, depending on how you're kind of marketing your stuff or what type of things you're making, hand stitching is often like an upwards mark of like artisanry, right? Like, ooh, hand stitched leather, fantastic, right? It's got a vibe to it. I just hate doing it. It is higher quality. You can't saddle stitch on one of these machines, which is going to be the strongest way to stitch leather. You can't do butt joints the same way or a baseball stitch or anything like that. Any of those more kind of artisan-y stitches, you're still going to have to do by hand. But for when you have to mill out a whole bunch of stuff or you're doing long runs of just kind of like holding things together, a sewing machine is just your best friend. I hope you found this informational or somehow useful. It does me some good to do a more restful episode like this, but I still want it to be useful for you, so leave it down in the comment section if you found this useful at all. In the meantime, though, keep leveling up, you. You've made it to the end screen. YouTube loves it when you do that, and it's a fantastic way to support this channel. Another fantastic way to support this channel is by joining these people's noble ranks. These are our Patreon members, and we can't do any of this without them. A massive thank you to our Grandmaster tier Patreon members, Froggy and TD Designs and Sundry. It is incredible and humbling that you help us along in this ride. It really does mean just everything to us that you would support us in this way. And hot news, we're getting a new office space, like a new workshop space and everything, which is cool. But we're gonna use part of that space to really make sure that we are thanking you all for supporting us. So we've got some designs in the work and stuff too to really kind of drive home how important you are to us. But yeah, for now, my thanks will have to do, so thank you so much. If you like what we do here and want to support us, you consider joining our Patreon, link in the description below. Otherwise, you can check out one of these videos that YouTube thinks you'd like, and that helps out a lot too. All right, all this talk about sewing machine makes me realize I can't remember the last time I oiled them. I should probably do that, yeah.